we get down there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Day 2 coverage of Grand Prix Pittsburgh. This is round 10. Everybody playing today has finished 7-2 or better to make it here. Two of those players at 8-1 or better are Brad Nelson and Reid Duke, the 14th and 11th ranked players in the top 25 pro player rankings. And there you see we're underway. Reid Duke, who's playing Storm. Starting things off here with a Serum Visions.
Looks like it might be a mirror match here. Rashad's taking a look at why it is that Brad Nelson is showing up multiple times on our screen here.
All right.
There we go. So Infect versus Storm, kind of interesting matchup here.
By the way.
Oh, that's top. All right, that's business. This is really interesting because for the most part, this is just going to be a straight up race. Who can go off first? Now, going off is defined a little differently for these decks. The Storm deck really does go off in the combo sense that we use that term. On the other side of the table, though, Brad, he needs to assemble a combo of Infect creature plus some number of pump spells before the Storm deck actually has a chance to go.
We saw a turn 2 kill with this deck yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
On camera?
On camera, yeah.
I wasn't in the mood for that one. Wow.
Yeah, Groundswell and Become Immense on turn 2 on Glistener Elf.
It totally can happen. Generally speaking, you're looking at a deck that is more suited to go turn 3 if unchecked.
So also we've seen Reid Duke win with this deck this weekend on turn 3.
So technically the Storm deck can win on 2. It's much more comfortable on 4, and it can win on 3. Like it can put things together. Yeah. So here we go.
Rancor on the Glistener Elf, attack you for 3. In fact,
it might be a pump spell here if the Goblin Electromancer's not blocking. The fact that it's not blocking here means, well, Reid certainly values it. He also doesn't think that he can
there's ground
die
12,
this
that's
turn.
plus 4.
Yeah, so he can't. He's taking 7 here.
So I see a couple Manamorphose.
This is a big turn because Reid needs to go off now.
Well,
he's facing lethal. He's not. I mean, he probably is. The Electromancer could block, but realistically, yes, he needs to go now.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's ready to go. You'll see that they have 2 different pieces for the Storm deck that help them accelerate out the win. One of them is on the table, Goblin Electromancer. Also, Pyromancer Ascension is the other one that will help him really power through. But in the meantime, this Electromancer should do a good job of getting him out ahead, and he needs to put together a win this turn realistically.
How accommodating Brad Nelson
is. Oh, what a sweetheart. We've got Storm count, we've got blue mana, and we've got red mana here.
And there is game 1 no way for Reid's deck to interact with Brad. Like game two he has 4 lightning bolts.
Well, no, it's kind of interesting because what he can do is it's not ideal.
Well, he
but
has
he
the
can
grape shot. He can grape shot. You're right.
And it's actually quite good. Like he can just go turn 2 grape shot your Glistener Elf, go, and just hope that he doesn't have any other way to pump it up.
But nothing at instant speed. Like,
no.
Say if you're going to commit
he'll have lightning bolts in the sideboard.
Yeah,
that
he has
can
4
bring in.
bolts in the sideboard.
Yeah. Also,
and empty the warrens is
yeah,
kind of sweet sometimes.
Could be a thing, yeah. I have seen also people bring in Blood Moon against this deck, and it actually works. Most of them only have a couple of forests in the main. Here's Pass and Flames for Duke. Yeah, he is in go off mode here.
Right, all of his Metamorphoses actually act like mini rituals with the Goblin Electromancer. It only costs 1, so you get an extra mana off of it. Looks like he's holding 2 Pyromancer Ascensions.
Awkward. Not necessarily what he wants to see here, as he's kind of just bypassing that plan and going with Goblin Electromancer here to power things out. But this is it. I mean, Reid is in go-off mode here, and he needs to complete the act or at least kill Glistener Elf.
Right,
but it is tough to sink this many resources into a turn unless you're able to untap after having killed the elf with a bunch of cards in hand that can set you up for the next turn to really, maybe play a Pyromancer Ascension and then just go, 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 go. Problem, of course, is Pass in Flames has removed most of his cards from his yard by casting them and exiles them after he does that. So I'm really curious to see if Reid can finish the job here, especially with those 2 Pyromancer Ascensions here.
He has 2 mana in his pool right now.
It looks like one of each, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these Storm decks are decks that you don't really see these in the more recent formats. It's modern and further that you'll see people try to abuse the Storm mechanic here. And basically the idea is pretty simple. You play a whole bunch of spells in one turn, and in order to do that, you need to play some type of rituals, cards that make extra mana.
Which are named after Dark Ritual.
The original.
A card a lot of people may not have seen.
Yeah, it's true. That hasn't been printed in a long time.
Yeah, they've all been red since then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that has. Wizards has decided that that's a much more red feeling effect.
Okay.
Anyway, and then you play a Storm card that copies it for each time you've cast a spell, or anybody's cast a spell.
So the Taxian Probe shows him that he is actually dead.
He's dead.
He passes the turn back.
Yeah.
Because
and again,
Rancor
thanks
gives
to
trample.
Rancor. Yeah, I mean, Rancor is really a big deal here.
Okay, well, here is a Pyretic Ritual. So that actually is 1 mana now to make 3 mana.
Desperate Ravens.
There are times that card is very aptly named.
Indeed. I'm assuming that Reid wouldn't be too sad to see at least one of those Pyromancer Ascensions hit the bin here. Right? He hasn't been able to get one on the table. And since he cast Pass in Flames, it hasn't really done much anyway.
He has to randomly discard a card.
They're re-rolling on higher ones. There we go. And it is a Pyromancer Ascension. All right.
All right, and another Desperate Ravens. So he's really just looking for the grape shot here. He's slow rolling himself. Doesn't even.
I don't know what a Storm count's at. Do we assume it's 15? It looks like it's 4, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in the 10-ish range, I'd guess.
Yeah,
all right. Well, he's hitting pretty well here.
I guess Storm is got to be higher than 7.
No, that's his poison count there.
Oh, that's yeah.
And I don't know. I think
So
Brad
that-
might have given up on the whole
So that
thing.
means there's no.
And Reid Duke fizzled. He ran out of gas here. So this should be game. And Reid just has a smile on his face. He says, I will block. And Brad says, pump spell. Yep, you're dead. So Reid tries to go off because he knows that he has to there.
Yeah.
And clearly he didn't have the pieces in place that he wanted to make it work. And he fizzled. Couldn't do it. Ouch.
That was a turn 3 win for Brad Johnson.
Yeah, see, and again, that took a while, right? Because Reid did try to go off, but when you look at it, these two decks, it was a turn 3 attempt to go off from Reid maybe a little sooner than he would have liked.
Right.
And a turn 3 victory for Brad.
Yeah, it feels like there was just like one. He was like one turn out of sequence. Like if he could somehow started that out with a Pyromancer Ascension in play.
And then boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of boom, Amulet Bloom here. From Mark Jacobson on your right, Seth Manfield playing Jund. So it's Scavenging Ooze versus Primeval Titans. Both these players 8-1.
Currently, no Titans on the battlefield is the
there's-
good news
there's
for
one,
Seth.
There's one in hand for Mark
All
Jacobson.
right, so tick-tock. Yeah, it looks like we came in at a good time here, because I think we might be talking about terminate or no here for Seth Manfield.
Seth Manfield does play 3 terminates.
All right, Super Sunday Series Sealed players, welcome to this event. Today we'll be running 9 rounds of Magic, followed by a cut to top 4. That top 4 will merge with the Super Sunday Series Modern event to form a brand new top 8, which will draft.
Mark Jacobson looking through his cards. Not seeing a Slayer Stronghold coming to the front.
Awesome. So remember, this is being run at a competitive rules enforcement level. That means that you're held to a higher standard of play. If you have any
I'm assuming that a Teleria West is part of the equation here for Mark.
Yeah.
Gives him some redundancy, the ability to find another Titan through a pact if he wants. He can protect his Titan. No, I'm wrong. He's just going to get 2 Simic Growth Chambers.
He had a Teleria West sorted in his package of lands he
Oh,
was
he did?
considering. Yeah.
Interesting stuff. I mean, I don't know what his hand is, so
But he may very well have a Teleria West.
totally could have one already. And he is generating a nice little chunk of mana here.
You see him floating mana from the Gemstone Mine. He's going to pick that up because of the trigger from the enter the battlefield trigger from the Simic Growth
It
Chamber.
looks like he's got 6 mana floating currently. He wrote 6 down on his life pad there, not in his life total section. So I'm assuming that's denoting how much mana he's got available.
All right, picked up Gemstone Mine and Vesuva.
At this point, we will not be doing anything with deck lists, so just open the packs,
Reid plays Vesuva.
and then place them face down on top of the deck list.
Copying the Simic Growth Chamber. Okay. Picking up a Celestia Sanctuary. It's like a slidey puzzle. Oh, and there's Summoner's Pact. He's going to go get another Primeval Titan.
Yeah, he had that in his hand.
Yeah.
And this is where the cascade of bad things for Manfield starts getting out of control. Yeah, correct. The chat points out, I think that was a G and not a 6 that he wrote down. Yeah. So he just used up that last G in conjunction with that 5 mana from the Vesuva and the 2 chambers. So that makes sense. Good looking out.
All right, there's the Slayer Stronghold.
All right, who's ready to have some fun?
Just leave your deck. You don't need to. You don't really need to keep shuffling it right now. You're going to shuffle it again in a moment.
Seth's like, thanks.
Activate Slayer Stronghold. Gives one of them haste and vigilance and +2/+0. And here you see the patience from Seth Manfield. Yeah, he said,
He's just been sitting there with his arms folded for this whole sequence. I mentioned it earlier, but he does have the mana available if he wants it for a terminate.
Yeah, I'm going to wait until you've tapped as much of your mana as possible. You've committed something. You've made some feint to go into the red zone. Because it could be just get a green source so you can remove a creature from the graveyard. I don't know.
That could be.
He has to have a terminate here. He does. So he kills the hasty Primeval Titan.
It does stop the train for a moment, though. I gotta say, I don't think I've ever seen anybody come back from Amulet Bloom playing 2 Titans in one turn. Like, they just have so much redundancy built in.
All right,
being able to keep using Teleria West to go get packs and either
Right.
protect their combo or go further it.
Well, you start to chain them, right? The Summoner's Pack gets the Primeval Titan, which gets another West, which gets a Pact of Negation.
Right.
All right, we'll give you an update on how this is. We're going to go back to our main match between Reid Duke and Brad Nelson.
Yeah, we don't want to blink here. You know?
Yeah, we pick up with a Gitaxian Probe to lead things off. Interesting card there out of the sideboard for Brad Nelson. Not a card you would necessarily think of intuitively against the Storm deck.
With the Relic of Progenitus?
Progenitus.
He's actually got 2 in his hand as well. And it does do good work against them. I mean, they do rely generally on being able to cast Pass and Flames and get things back. It also, if timed correctly, can make sure that Pyromancer Ascension doesn't get online.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that Blood Moon we talked about earlier, BDM.
Wow.
So his hand is Dispel, Pass and Flames, Bolt, Ritual, Blood Moon. Interesting. One lander here.
But we're one land away from a Blood Moon.
Yeah, it looks like he kept 4 of those plus a Gitaxian Probe and a land here.
Yeah.
And he's already fired off the probe and missed. Reid really hoping to hit a land here. Let's see if Brad's gonna go get a basic forest. He's only got 2 in the deck.
He is, and he's going to get a Noble Hierarch to let his deck operate. Noble Hierarch down. He's seen the hand. He knows there's a bolt in there. Oh, there's a second land for Reid.
All right off the top, just like he planned it out.
He's going to go get an island, which means we're probably going to see Ritual Blood Moon here.
We could.
I don't know how good it is with the forest in play.
Right, that's the problem that Reid is going to face down here. I don't know if he has any other play. Yeah, there it is. And this actually does very good work against Brad. It shuts off every other land in his deck except for one, which is the other basic forest. And one of the ways that you'll see these type of decks win is through cards like Inkmoth Nexus, and that's going to take that out.
Right. So Relic of Progenitus comes down off of the mountain.
Now this is the big issue here, is that Brad had that Glistener Elf in his hand from the get-go, and Reid's going to need to find an answer for that. If he does, he'll probably be in pretty good shape. I mean, Brad with no threat here and just the forest really, really slows him down. But Reid's deck, even post-board, isn't super great at playing the control game, where it's not just always going to have lightning bolts and such. So
Relic of Progenitus removes a card. Reid gets rid of his Scalding card.
ooh, there's a nice one for Brad Nelson. Another Noble Hierarch, which means he might actually get to cast blue spells this game. 2 poison for Duke. Other
Two
relic.
relics.
Looks like Brad's just going to go ahead and make Reid exile a couple of cards here. Every one of these matters. Reid does not have Pyroclasm.
No, I was just doing the check for that.
Yep. Yeah, here's the Serum Visions. Yeah, that
and he's
Noble
got
Hierarch
another Noble Hierarch in hand.
yeah, he's really being able to work around it. What Reid needs to do is he needs to find a Grape Shot. Play 2 spells or something and then just wipe the board. Yeah, that basic forest, though, that Brad got after playing the Gitaxian Probe and seeing the Blood Moon is really wrecking Reid here.
I wonder what Modern would look like without Gitaxian Probe.
Probably pretty similar. Card gets a lot of play.
All right. So double Noble Hierarch means 5 poison on Reid Duke. Bolt and Gitaxian Probe go away. No, he gets rid of the ritual. He leaves the probe.
Another Blood Moon. That will not do it. Reid's at 5. Poison already. Going to 8. It's not going to take much here. Any pump spell on the deck will kill him.
I believe Reid is holding a Dispel.
That is true. He is. You're right.
So I think he'll get one more draw step no matter what.
Okay.
Here.
Unless there's 2 pump spells.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Brad's going to go digging, too. He's going to crack the first Relic of Progenitus. That one's not doing a lot of work here anyway, since Reid has no graveyard to speak of at the moment. All right. Another mountain there for Brad Nelson. But he's got Might of Old Krosa here, which is going to get dispelled. He played it on his main phase, so it would have been lethal. But this is going to buy Reid Duke 1 turn, and it could be huge. It really could. Like, if he...
Nope.
Oh, cancel that order. Groundswell.
Groundswell.
And that's going to do it.
Brad Nelson takes a 2-0, goes to 9-1 here in Modern.
Brad proves that he is the better goldfish this round.
Eight and 2 for Reid Duke. How did where did Huey finish yesterday? On the
7-2.
7-2 on the Reid Duke challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Duke was 8-1. He was 7-2.
There in the background, you see our other video match: Seth Manfield and Mark Jacobson.
It looks like they're talking to a judge, actually.
Yeah.
Don't forget to join us for the World Magic Cup December 11th through 13th. We're going to be in Barcelona, Spain, with teams from 70-something countries, and it's going to be awesome.
You're making a little vacation out of it.
I am. I'm going a week early.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's real nice. I am looking forward to that.
Whoa.
Jeez, I'd call a judge, too. What is going on here?
Is this the same game we left? I think it is.
Yep. Yeah, that Scavenger News gobbled up a couple more Primeval Titans, but there's always more.
Yeah, well, the 2 Primeval Titans, facing right are attacking. The 2 facing left are exiled.
Yes. That's correct. And somehow Seth is A, still alive, and B, has marked down to 8 life here.
Right. Mark Jacobson has ripped through all the Primeval Titans in his deck.
I believe that there's a judge call happening here,
Yeah.
at least some type of clarification for this.
I mean, there's so many triggers and so many pick cards up,
yeah.
and yeah, I mean, Mark's actually close to dead with the PA and Kieran. We'll try to get some insight onto what that judge ruling is.
All right, so I do have some insight into that.
Okay.
So our floor reporter Ray down there says that Mark had verbalized what he wanted to go get with his Primeval Titan trigger. So, I'm going to go get a thing and a thing. But then had changed his mind and said, well, actually, I'm going to get this instead. And Seth said, well, you had already verbalized it. And so the question was, does that stand, or is he able to change his mind? In this case, the judge ruled that it would have to stand.
Okay.
So
I imagine, since we're still talking, that Mark has appealed this to a higher authority.
I think the discussion's still going. So, yeah. Unfortunately, our other match is already finished, so we're kind of hanging out here for a few minutes.
Okay, I do know, we talked about the World Magic Cup a little earlier. I do know we're going to have some replay magic this round.
Yes.
And we have 9-0 Neal Oliver, who is he's got a nice head of steam going into the World Magic Cup 9-0, playing today, and I gotta tell you, he was the biggest name in the 9-0s. I didn't recognize a lot of the players.
Of the 9-9-0s?
Of the 9-9-0s, yeah. The 8-1 is like a Hall of Fame ballot.
Uh-huh.
The 8-1's like, but the 9-0s, it was Neal Oliver and 8 relatively unknown players, people looking to make their, maybe be the next Neal Oliver. Right? Neal Oliver made his name, obviously, Grand Prix Las Vegas a couple years ago. Won which was at the time the biggest tournament ever.
He's standing right over there. See him?
Yeah. We don't know what happened. We don't want to know what happened yet. We want to find out as we watch it. He's unreadable, though. I can't.
Yeah. See an interesting chat happening in the Twitch chat here, led of course by Chris Pakula, who just wherever he walks, interesting discussions follow.
Sure.
I think there might be a coincidence here. All right. So
are these the 2 lands that he initially wanted to get?
I'm gonna ask. Still don't know how Seth is still alive, by the way. He's now faced 4 Primeval Titans, many of them with haste. Yeah. The ruling stood. So I'm assuming then that these are the 2 that Mark verbally said he was going to get out of his deck.
Okay,
even if they weren't necessarily the 2 that he would have gotten in a perfect scenario after having reconsidered.
So picks up a Radiant Fountain. He's also resolving the Colony Garden there, so.
Anything left to get? It's getting a little thin.
So the lesson here is don't declare what you're going to get until you've actually gotten it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gets a Gemstone Mine and a Simic Growth Chamber. So is this all moot? Can he just... I assume both of the Primeval Titans are attacking here. Picks up the Colony Garden. Puts a cat. Obviously, the Summoner's Pact was cast this turn. And now he's gonna. Right. He's gonna double strike with Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, which is.
I want to revisit an earlier point, BDM.
What's that?
How is Seth Manfield still alive?
I don't know.
What is going on here?
We don't know how long that judge ruling was going on before we came back.
Fair.
I don't think he is currently alive. I think they're just keeping him alive for, like, to donate organs. There should be 16 points of trample on one of those Primeval Titans and another 6, so that's 22 points. Oh, he's gonna be at 1.
Yeah. Just put 4 toughness in front.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Go to 1. Wow.
passes the turn, so Seth actually gets to untap here. He's going to need some pretty miraculous things to happen, but Manfield is just hanging right in there. Super impressive.
It's always the 4th Primeval Titan that gets you.
Yeah, apparently. Seth looks like he's trying to find a way, but I don't think there is.
They
one.
blow the die off of Mark's deck, so he forgets to pay for Summoner's Bloom.
He's shaking
for
his head.
Summoner's
Look
Pact.
at Seth. He's frustrated.
All right, Mark Jacobson takes game 1 here with Amulet Bloom and 4 Primeval Titans.
I'm curious I'd love to hear what Seth, what is thinking, because Seth is a pretty chill Magic player. Like he won't get frustrated just because he lost.
Right.
If he gets frustrated, it's usually because he feels like he made a mistake or something went,
Sure.
that he didn't want it to or whatever.
I mean, we've all been in that situation. I imagine.
Well, I mean,
two reasonable people have both said reasonable things, and
Yeah.
they've both heard them or said them in ways that the other person's not
it's
familiar
just
with saying them.
most players get mad because they lost.
Yeah.
Just no matter what, like even if they played great,
Yeah.
they're just like, yeah, but I lost. I don't like losing, But Seth is, he's an elite level pro, and I just saw a little head shake from him. That's all.
Yeah. Well, the body language in this match is not.
Fair.
If they could sit at an angle to each other, they would here. Looking at sideboards. What do you see from Seth here?
So let's take a look at what Seth's working with here. Painful Truths, probably not. Kitchen Finks, not so much. Feed the Clan, no. Leyline of the Void, probably not. Grudge, yeah. I mean, nabbing their Amulet is still a thing. Sometimes they only need it for one turn, but you can get it. He's going to be on the play here as well. So, turn 1 Amulet, turn 2 blow it up. That's probably a thing. Thoughtseize, I would think, would absolutely come in, complementing the other 2 plus the Inquisitions he's got. I think he wants all of that. Unravel the Aether.
Basically 2 mana,
sure.
sort of like it's like a 3rd Grudge here. Right?
Yeah, it's probably pulls its weight. That's pretty nuanced. Like, how important is the Amulet? Because the thing is that your window to kill the Amulet is small. So the thinking would be, well, then I want Unravel and both Ancient Grudges, so I have the biggest chance to hit that window. Or the thinking is, that window's too small. I'm not even going to try to hit it because those are dead draws later. I'm going to take a different line. It kind of depends on what dead cards Seth perceives to have in his deck. Like, if he's got a bunch of space, then all that's coming in no problem. He's got a Kolaghan's Command in the main deck anyway. He's got 3 Abrupt Decay. Like, he can blow up
He can already blow up an Amulet pretty good.
Yeah, he's even got a Maelstrom Pulse if it comes to that. But, which feels a little slow. But, I mean, we're talking about a deck that's running 4 Inquisition of Kozilek, 2 Thoughtseize, 3 Abrupt Decay, and a Kolaghan's Command in the main deck. So, I don't know if he needs to add 3 more copies of cards that kill just one, threat. I'm curious. Hopefully we'll see. On the other side of the board, we got Seal of Primordium, Swan Song, a Leyline of Sanctity. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mark bring that in. Again, these Jund decks,
it's been an all-star against Jund in the past.
Yeah, totally. And, I mean, I think it's probably worth it. There's a pair of Pyroclasms, which I doubt he'll bring in, but it's not impossible. And then one of the things that you'll see with this deck, so it's got 2 Thragtusk and a Hornet Queen. And when you're playing against a deck like what Seth Manfield's playing, which is a real grindy affair, these cards often come in. I mean, they're just fair. You just play a Thragtusk, and they're like, all right, terminated, and then I need a bolt to kill the thing, and then you're like Hornet Queen, and now their guys can't attack, and they really don't have a way to cleanly remove all that stuff. And you can get them. You really can.
See Seth Manfield going to 6 cards here. Mark Jacobson has stood pat on 7.
Card goes to the bottom for Manfield. No disruption, and there's no ley line there for Mark either. So
And no turn 1 Amulet either.
yeah, tap land for him. Vesuva is going to copy Raging Ravine, which is going to get him some green mana. Nothing for Manfield thus far, just nothing.
So here comes Summer Bloom.
Okay. You know, you do see this deck do this sometimes just the good old-fashioned way, right? Just
Yep.
here's a bunch of lands.
So he's going to put a Simic Growth Chamber in, pick up. Gets to pick up the Vesuva. Puts a Golgari Rot Farm in.
Yeah, and now
Picks
he gets
up-
to untap
yeah.
with 6 mana
Yeah.
here if he's got an untapped land, right? It's
So
just
he
like,
can play a Primeval Titan.
boom. Or bloom, I should say. Wouldn't be the worst turn for a Thoughtseize here if Seth happened to find one. Nothing?
Wow.
It's been 4 turns. Seth has done some total of nothing. And now he's going to be facing down a Titan. This is not going to end well for
Could just
Manfield.
also, yeah, he's going to go right to Titan. He also has a Thragtusk in hand, but Titan lets him just advance his board no matter what.
Yeah, it's also just better.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, it just on board, like it demands an answer. But you have to figure that Seth Manfield has one. Like, what else could he possibly have in his hand other than like a bunch of Terminates, Lightning Bolts, something like that?
Mark Jacobson's going to get Conley Garden, a plant token, and a Boros Garrison. Yeah, and picks up his counterspell.
Or his Titan.
Whatever he wanted to be.
Pick your poison.
Clarion West, he'll be transmuting that next turn for a 0 casting cost spell. 0 casting cost spells in his deck are Pact of Negation, Slaughter Pact.
One of those.
Yeah, and Summoner's Pact.
Summoner's Pact,
Yeah. Right, we've really
And
mostly seen the
lands.
Primeval Titan combo. Yeah, oh, and lands, obviously. We've mostly seen the Primeval Titan combo, but the deck does also run Hive Mind.
That's true. 2 of them.
Yeah. So there was the Terminate.
Yeah, he's just got a bunch of removal in hand, I think. Lands and removal, is that what your hand is, Seth?
I definitely see another Terminate.
And there's a Dismember in there too, I believe. Could be wrong about that. Okay, well, he's finally unleashed the fury of Dark Confidant here, which is really good. I mean, Mark's list doesn't really pressure life totals until you're about to die anyway. So Dark Confidant, feeding a flow of cards into Seth Manfield's hand is a big deal here.
So there's Primeval Titan number 2.
Welcome.
It's just like, I just draw my Primeval Titans. I don't know what to tell you. I don't even need a Summoner's Pact.
Pretty nice.
Wait, why are you untapping that?
I think he's going to
He's
play
picking it up and playing it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And now Seth needs... He must not have another Terminate because he just let that thing attack.
He did. Wow.
Whew. I mean, this is just ramp out a couple of Titans, and turns out that's pretty good when you have the toolbox of lands in hand for Mark.
Yeah, picks up his Gemstone Mine. Wow. 13 mana in play right now for Mark Jacobson.
Yeah, awkward draw here for Manfield for sure.
All right, judges, can you please know the players with their hands raised and assist them if they need it?
Mark wisely got the Colony Garden a few turns ago, which is that token is a plant token there, which is going to protect his Titan from Liliana of the Veil.
Yep.
Good forward thinking there from Mark. That was last turn he did that.
I missed what card he hit off of the Dark Confidant there.
Land go.
Mark Jacobson's name seems familiar to people in Follow Modern. Bant Megamorph deck that made the top 8 of Grand Prix Toronto. That was him.
Plays a lot of GPs.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was standard actually. The Modern Toronto one was a long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah, he's had a bunch of GPs, Mark. And he is just destroying here. Summoner's Pact.
I'll go get another hasty Primeval Titan.
How many Titans can this guy take?
I mean, he took 4 last game.
Yeah, well.
It took all 4 last game.
He also died, yeah.
Mark being very deliberate about what lands he's getting now.
No kidding. He doesn't want to make a mistake. You know, he had a little bit of a misstep earlier. It didn't end up costing him the game or anything, but I think he's just trying to be extra diligent here.
Hasn't really had the time to transmute for like a Pact of Negation or anything.
Or apparently the inclination. I mean, if Primeval Titan got in last time,
yeah,
probably going to do it again.
I think we're going to see a similar. Looks like he's thinking about the Sun Home Fortress. Pick up the Sun Home Fortress, play it. Just the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have an amulet in play, so he doesn't get to do the super broken stuff, but he's effectively just ramped out a bunch of Titans now, and they tend to cascade into each other. I haven't actually seen an amulet from him.
Sided him out. Don't need him.
Can you?
No. So,
It
all right,
occurred to me.
There's Teleria West. Gets picked up from the Selesnya Sanctuary, so I think we might finally see. Unless he's holding a pack, but.
It's like Seth's getting a little antsy. He hasn't had a whole lot to do on his side of the table, as Mark's been the one with all the action here. Bloom.
All right, sealed players, please take the pool of cards in front of you and pass them back to their owner. Should be the person across from you.
Okay.
Once you receive the cards that you
He'll get 4 more lands.
please write your name
4 more lands, and he's got 3 land drops to go. The heck?
right-hand corner. Once again, write your table number in the top right-hand corner along with
He picks up a Teleria West.
At this point, you will be given 30 minutes to build
Then he's going to Vesuvian Radiant Fountain just to.
call for a judge. So, you have 30 minutes for deck construction. Please begin.
Can't have that many more lands in his deck. He's got a bunch in his hand, too.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and call this one. Like, if there was a referee, you know,
Yeah.
wave it off. He's had enough.
I mean, if there was a coach, you'd throw in the towel.
Right.
So he picks up Teleria West and Colony Garden. Gain 2 life from his Radiant Fountain. And Raging Ravine has to get in there to block. Wow. Chump, chump, and a bolt to finish it off. Seth once again is going to be teetering on the brink of extinction here.
Yeah, he's going to fall down to 2 here.
Can he find a Terminate?
Doesn't matter. You know, like, Mark should have multiple Teleria Wests available here, right? So
Yes. I think we're going to go get one right now.
He can go get another Summoner's Pact. He can go get a Pact
He
of
goes and
Negation.
gets the Summoner's Pact.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
interesting. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter with all the lands he has on the board. That Titan is just hasty and getting in there. So.
huh? Exactly. I mean, it's going to have double strike, haste, +2/+0, and vigilance. I suppose that's a lot to answer for Manfield.
Mark Jacobson's just using his Summer Bloom triggers to make a lot of. Oh, okay, he's not just making a lot of plant tokens.
Seth finally gets to draw a card here. It's another land, and he just has to pass the turn back in. He's dead. If he couldn't stop this last turn, he can't do it this turn. So
he's like, "Oh, you're going to pay for your pact? All right,
Yeah.
extend the hand."
And
Wow.
that does it. So Seth picks up his second loss of the tournament, falling to 8-2.
Mark Jacobson 9-1. Amulet Bloom
Crushing.
looking very strong.
Yep, just crushing it.
What did I ask you your prediction for the number of Amulet Bloom decks in the top 8?
No,
What,
2.
2?
2's a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're talking modern here, where this isn't a standard GP. So
Okay. Well, we've got a lot more Magic to go, but that's it here for round 10 at Grand Prix Pittsburgh. We'll be back with some more Magic.